If you have not done anything to get closer to your goals, or even made any steps to get closer to your goals, you should not be telling people what your plans are. Because by telling people what your plans are prior to even making any momentum towards it, you have now lessened your chances of actually reaching it. Scientifically, when we tell someone what our plans are, in that moment, the feedback that we get is 9 times out of 10 always going to be positive. So now in that moment, we have this sudden dopamine rush, and it's just like, we feel good. But if you feel too good telling someone your plans that you haven't even done yet, then that initial motivation to want to reach that goal has now diminished. And now it's not so much, oh, now I need to create this and publish it and see how people react. Now it's more like, you know what, I now have an idea of how people are going to react, and now it's become more chill. So you don't want to lose that motivation aspect of anything. You want to be able to create something and still be curious of how people are going to react or how the outcome is going to be. But when you go on and you tell groups of people, it doesn't matter if it's one person, two, three, four, five, if you go on and tell people what you got in mind and what you're going to do and haven't done yet, and then they're giving you their feedback on it, their take on it, and everything, you've now just given yourself the idea of how people will react. And now it's just kind of like, okay, I feel like I know how people are going to react if I post it. So now it's just like, oh, or now I know how people are going to react if I do this certain thing. And now it's like the drive to even want to do it isn't really there anymore. And when you tell people your plans, you now have this expectation that you have to exceed, because when you tell people your plans, oftentimes they're going to come to you and they're going to remind you of these plans. They're going to come to you and they're going to ask you what happened to that one plan you had in mind. And sometimes it'll be at certain times where you could be going through it in life, or you have such a busy schedule going on in life, but then you have people asking you constantly about this plan that you had told them about, and it's starting to clash with your scheduling and your like mindset and where you are mentally, and things just start becoming chaotic in that space to the point you don't even feel like wanting to do it anymore, because now you've told so many people what you had in mind and they're waiting on you to do it, and now you're just sitting there like, you need to do this certain thing in patience. You need to be able to do this thing with time. But since you've told so many people, now it's like, oh my gosh, I have to exceed these expectations and I have to do it right away. And now you feel like you're losing time. And it's just this constant cycle of chaos. That is why you should just do everything to yourself. You should always, no matter what the case is, you shouldn't even want to feel the need to tell people what your plans are, because at the end of the day, you have yourself. Other people's opinions don't even matter. If you have a certain plan going on, like, who cares if other people know or not? You want to be able to surprise people anyways. So there's really no point in even telling people. And I know excitement tends to fuel us, and sometimes it's out of our control. We get too excited, we want to tell people, but really when you think about it in hindsight, like, there's just no point. So it's always better to do all the plotting to yourself, and when you have an idea, to just keep it to yourself, because the more you have it stick in your head, the more it cycles in your own head, and you just want to feel, and you just want to constantly feel that need to do it. But when you tell people, oh yeah, I've got this thing that I'm gonna be publishing in this time, or like, I'm gonna be doing this certain thing, then like people are gonna rely on that and they're not gonna forget about it. They're going to bother you about it, and it's gonna be annoying, and it's gonna clash with the way you've had things initially planned. So it's really the same thing with, like, I want to say musicians, when it comes to releasing music. And I've been there before because I am a musician myself. Obviously, I'm still upcoming and I'm still a very small artist, but when I see it through other through known artists, and me, a musician who understands how it is musically and how things work on that page. Like when you see an artist who says they have this plan that they're going to do and they post it on their story, and then next thing you know, like they have all of these people DMing them about it, like, oh, when are you gonna drop this then? Okay, so when are you gonna do this then? And all of that. Then it starts to become this thing where it's like, okay, like you gotta be, art takes patience. You can't rush someone to drop this thing. You can't rush someone to do this thing. You know, it comes with patience. But now you've told so many people, so now you have all this stress, and it's very difficult in a situation like that to be able to manage patience when you have people waiting. That's why it's better to just keep it to yourself and just not say anything until you have everything managed out and everything sorted out. That is why a lot of artists have managers and things of that nature, and they are the ones that tell them when to post certain things, what to say, how to say it. Because if you say something incorrectly, you know, your fans are gonna start like going crazy. And then when they go crazy and it's at the wrong time, then that's just like literal, that's gonna be like literal piles of stress onto you because now you don't know what to do. You've now, it's almost like you've promised a group of people something, and if you don't, you know, if you don't actually do that promise and you don't show that trust, then they're gonna probably like clash and they're gonna break apart from you, and they're gonna start seeing you differently. So like it's very important that if you have plans that you keep it to yourself, or at least you really have this certain way that you're going to go about it, and making sure that it's something that you are very like you are very stern about, and you this is the final initial plan and you know it's going to happen. Then I feel like then it's okay to tell people. But if it's just like this idea you have in mind and like you have absolutely not even started anything to get closer to it, why are you telling people? You know, do not let your excitement win over you. Yes, like excitement is a normal thing, but don't let it win you over to the point you start like, you know, yapping all about it, and now you're doing more yapping than doing, you know? And when we tell people our plans and we get these positive responses, like, don't get me wrong, positivity is a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's so good to be positive and sweet about everything. But we don't want to tell people something and hear what we want. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want to be able to tell someone our plans and hear what we want them to say. Like, if I had a plan in mind and I told my friend about it, in my head, I'm already knowing like she's gonna say something nice. So once she actually does say something nice about that and she gives me some good feedback and she's like, yeah, I'm excited for you. Now in that moment, I'm like, see, I heard what I wanted to hear. And now my brain has automatically in my own head has automatically made it seem like I've already achieved that goal now because I got what I wanted. But ironically enough, we actually don't want to expect the expected, if that makes sense. Like, we want to just be in a sudden mode of curiosity. That's what really will make us reach that end goal and just do it, because then that way our curiosity is like it is come to a point where it's like, oh, I really want to know, I really want to know, and then we finally hit it, we finally do it, and now we get to enjoy, we get to sit back and see the results, you know. But if we were like on that path to achieving that goal, but like through the path I'm like telling people like, okay, so like let's just pretend this is a bar, right? And I'm just like on the way to the top, I'm just going like, oh hey, like, I have this thing planned, what do you think of this, da, da, da. And then they tell me something good, right? Nine times out of ten something good, and I'm like, oh yeah. And then like I'm just, then as I'm going up the bar, it starts to become a slow movement. Like it doesn't become something that I'm excited to do because, okay, I've heard what I wanted to. Now next person I go, I'm like, hey, you know, I have this thing planned, right? Da da da. They tell me, and now my drive to want to even reach that goal has now lessened, and it's like a very slow thing. And when it becomes slow, we're wasting more time now, you know? we could have done this certain thing in such a shorter period of time, but now I'm like teasing it to everyone and I'm getting the responses I want. So now it's just like lazy. It's lazy. We don't want to waste time. It's really just better to be in that constant mode of what's next, or okay, I need to know if I drop this how people will react. Okay, I think that people are going to react good. You want to be able to imagine what the outcome is. You don't want to know or have hints of what the outcome will be. Now, in some situations, you will come across a negative person, someone who doesn't like you. You'll come across a hater. I believe it's good in this situation to tell them what your plans are. It's not something that I believe is priority and should be prioritized to do, but I feel like it is something that could make you even more motivated to want to reach your goal, because when you tell a hater what your plans are, they're going to instantly say something negative, and that negativity is going to make you want to prove them wrong. It's going to instantly put your brain in survival mode, and it's going to be like, what did you just say? And then you're going to want to do all of these things to prove them wrong, and just by doing that alone is going to make you move faster. It's going to make you start running. So instead of going slowly up the bar, you're going to start speeding up to the bar to show them and to shove it in their faces that what they said was wrong. So I believe in situations like that, it's not bad, to say. But at the end of the day, what? You shouldn't care that much to the point you go and tell your own haters what you got planned. Because again, like, haters are lovers in disguise. They're just taking every bit of what you do and they're stealing it, but they try not to make it obvious. So really, you shouldn't even be talking or associating with your haters. You should just, you could entertain them by doing what you're doing and continue doing what you're doing. But when you sit there and you're like full on, you know, opening up to them and you're like telling them things one on one, then that's when I feel like it's almost like you're diminishing your own value and you're like disregarding your own worth. So I feel that there's no point in even doing that. But again, sometimes we'll be put in a situation like that and it could definitely fuel your motivation and drive. But yeah, that's just my take on that. And I think that, again, really at the end of the day, it's just like you just got to be to yourself. We are all one, we're all our own selves, we're all unique in our own ways. We all have these different plans in our lives, and people are doing different things in order to reach different goals. So you want to just do all the plotting to yourself and just really be there for yourself, because that's what you really need at the end. We all should just be to ourselves about anything. And as much as we crave positive feedback from people, and we want to hear all of these good things and all of this excitement that we want to let out, it really, there's no point, because realistically, as much as we think people are really excited about these things, like, people also have lives and they have their own things that they're battling. So you want to be able to like publish a certain art piece, or you want to be able to do this certain thing that you had planned and get the greatest results. And you get great results by having people wait, by having people expect the unexpected. Like, because if I were to tell people and give people so many hints, that at some point they're just going to catch on, and like they're not even gonna be as excited when it actually publishes. You want to like publish something and have people go like, what? Like, you want to be able to do something and have people go like, what? That's why I'm just so big on doing things without telling people, because with my experiences, every time I told someone a plan that I had in mind, or like, what I was doing in the moment, it just like it pushed me back a lot, because in that moment I was just like, oh, like sometimes they give me this feedback and like it would just stop me for a second, and it kind of created a wall, and then I started reflecting on it a little too much, and I started overanalyzing a little too much, just because I had told that one person. But you see how that just ruined the whole work ethic of things? That's not what you want, you know? Like at the end of the day, you just want to make something that just came straight out of your own brain without without anything clouding it. You just want to be able to just do that and see the results. You want to see the insights. You want to see how that did. But like, people, by telling people, it just will really push you back. Like that's just something I've really noticed. And now that I've stopped doing that, I have seen greater results. And really it's because people expected the unexpected. And like when we tell people our plans, they can only imagine the plans, but they can't imagine it exactly like how you do. So even if they do give you some sort of feedback while you're telling them this thing, you almost can't fully take it in, because maybe they see it differently than you do. And that's usually the case. So that's why it's better to just do like what you have in mind, because that's like your gut feeling creating this thing, and our gut feelings is never they're never wrong. So it's like something that's coming truly from your heart and you feel good about, and like you really want to do it, just do it, and you will get the results that you want. So it's just honestly, that's just my take on it, and I feel that there's just no point in sharing, you know, everything to everybody. And like really it's better to just work in patience and work in the way that we can handle, because like once you tell people, it's like that's just going to create more chaos for yourself, and like that whole beauty of what that thing is you wanted to reach, it starts to just fade away, really. So, it's really small things like this that I feel people should consider, and it really will make a big change in people's lives. It will make a big change in your life. It has made a really big change in my life when I started to realize and I started to shift the way that I did things. So, yeah, that's just something I wanted to get out there. And I really hope that it helped some of you guys see things differently. But yeah, work in silence. That's what they say. You always work in silence. Because, like, once you tell people your plans, like there's also those people that steal your plans. And next thing you know, they're doing these plans, they're doing these plans and they're getting the results that you wanted, but now you can't because they've done it before you. So like you see where I'm getting at? Like it's just all of these things that stack up. And like this world is like, it's so unpredictable. Like you would think that the person who's giving you all this good feedback about your work, and like you really love to tell them everything because they say such nice things, you would think that that's how they are, but then like next thing you know, they could be the same people stealing your flow. Because stealing your flow is a real thing. Like people will steal your whole persona, people will steal your whole vibe. Like they'll try to be like you, and like strangers will think that's really how they are, but whole time no, that's just them copying you. But then when you tell them, they think that you're crazy and they think this person's normal. No, it's the other way around. Like guys, trust me, I know this pain. So that's why I'm telling you guys. But yeah, guys, take in what I said, because this stuff is real. This stuff is real. But yeah, guys, until the next video. I think this video is a pretty brief video. But let me know if you guys have anything you want me to talk about or discuss in the comments down below. But until the next video, bye.